The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And he had that potted down way too far. Up 5 on the S&P cash, up 118 on the Dow. The Nasdaq's up was 24.5. So not too different than what we had before the news. I don't think there's any surprises in what we have. Probably more important to the market going forward. There's not going to be a lot of big surprises. This is basically out now until the end of January, which I think the January meeting's like the 29th or 30th. So we have a little while before anything goes, but there's not going to be any more discussions. We're not going to have anything else. And yes, many requests for the Janet Yellen prayer. We'll use that for the last time, I suspect, today. We'll play that in the next segment. What else do we have? A lot of little action. But for the most part, we're just kind of knocking these things down one by one that could be problems before the end of the year. And I guess we got the tax bill. That's kind of it. And then that would mean that if there's not a lot of stuff to kind of weigh this market down, it's probably going to see these kind of what I like to call stumbling up and down. And that is that you get to stumble kind of like a drunk, but at least he makes his way home, right? He may make some detours some other ways. He's not going too far. Going to go a little to the left, a little to the right, but he's going to make it up. And that's about it. So no big news, probably not a lot of reaction. Don't expect this market to get whippy or anything. See a little up, see a little down. It's all about options expiration now. And a little less than on the tax bill, but that I think is pretty much a done deal from what I read in the papers today. They've finally kind of come together. They'll get that to the president's desk before the 25th, and that'll be it. So we'll see what's actually in the bill when they get done, which will probably be more important than them actually getting it, is what's inside of it. Always a lot of changes between there. And let's see, is there anything else? I think that's it. It's just going to be kind of a quiet couple of days. We have periodic news. We'll cover a couple of the stocks that moved on that today. And what else? Just time for a little bit of history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1937, the rape of Nanking, and that's not a person, that's a place. I know that with modern education, they probably don't teach a lot of this. Nanking is a place in China. To break up the spirit of the Chinese resistance, Japanese General Matsui ordered that the city of Nanking be destroyed. Much of the city was burned, and Japanese troops launched a campaign of atrocities against civilians. What has become known as the rape of Nanking, the Japanese butchered an estimated 150,000 male war prisoners, massacred an additional 50,000 male civilians, and raped at least 20,000 women and girls of all ages, many of them who were mutilated or killed in the process. This was not a thing left only to Nanking. The Japanese were big on doing this in Korea and other places too. And I always think that somewhere all these people are roasting in hell that did this, thinking and probably just sitting there talking to Hitler and going, why do you get all the love? And Stalin probably next to him going, I killed even more people than you. Mr. Hitler, and I don't get any kind of the love that you get. And of course, the Japanese, of course, doing this. And you would be surprised if you have ever spent any time in China with regular people, not just like on vacation, but business people. They still talk about this like it was yesterday, kind of like the Armenian genocide from the right before the First World War. Those Armenians, they are not forgetting it either. We got a lot of people out there with some very long memories. And I don't know. We've been able to kind of push that away with Germany and Japan. I don't know. Maybe it's a better world if we can just forgive and forget. But I'll guarantee you the Chinese are not. They still wish for the day that they could do something. I always wondered if China wasn't using North Korea as an excuse to go nuke them one day just to get back. Because these guys, you would think it was yesterday, the way that they normally talk about this kind of stuff. But we can always hold a grudge for forever, it seems like. But on this day in 1937, one of the worst war atrocities started, and it was one of many by the Japanese. And what else do we have? Two stocks moving fairly briskly on news. Finistar is one. Both of these, and Light is other, Lite. Both of these companies are in the business. Finistar, by the way, up 23.5%, almost 24% right now. They make a thing called a VCSEL, VCSEL. It's basically an acronym for a kind of a small semiconductor that emits laser light and can measure the depth at which that light is reflected. Think of it as kind of like sonar. And if you get an iPhone 10 or a Samsung device, these VCSELs are actually built into the camera. That is what gives at least the Apple device and some others the ability to see your face in 3D relief. The issue was that, well, let me put it this way. The big star, of course, is Apple. That's throwing a bunch of cash at these guys to build a facility to start building and making these products in Texas, not that far away from some of the other work that Apple is doing down in Austin. But we've talked at nauseum about how many people that are working for Apple down there in a lot of the old buildings that used to be used by Texas Instruments and some of the other big leaders of the tech world. But Apple wants to build their own displays. This looks like just another hand in the glove of building their own displays with their own sensors that other people can't have. The idea is going to be Finistar is going to be making these basically little light sonar devices. And the big deal is that these things can point straight out. A lot of the other kind of devices that do this are kind of edge-based, so you can't make a kind of a nice array of them on the surface of your smartphone. These things point straight off, so they can mount them on the board. And Finistar is going to build these things so small that they can fit 10 of them in a human hair. We'll talk about this back.
Excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Technomental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
For our Janet, who art in finance, hallowed be the yellin'. Thy auctions come, thy bills be done, in twos as they are in sevens. Give us this day our daily fed, and forgive us our treasuries, as we forgive those that default against us. And lead us not into recession, and deliver us from deflation. For thine is the borrowing, the easing, and the printing, forever and ever and ever. Amen.
It's a sad day, isn't it, to see the Janet Yellen prayer kind of go out the window. Just finishing up on Finistar, a few questions out here. This is all about facial recognition for Apple. And again, just trying to make it better and more accurate. This kind of stuff, the facial recognition stuff has already been hacked. And you can pretty much defeat Apple's current implementation. Now in laptops, Microsoft did it another way. They did it with infrared video, and it could see the heat in the different parts of your face. They could even tell twins apart from themselves, but fairly expensive to put in an Apple phone. So what they're trying to do is use these things that can be done for $1 or $2 and also don't use much power. But already in the current phone, if you walk away from it, it doesn't see your face anymore. It'll automatically turn the screen off. So it's doing everything in the world to try to make that battery last as long as possible. But you can kind of hold a picture up in front of an iPhone 10 and crack it. And there's some other cracking that you can do now with iPhone 10s. Not as anywhere secure as Apple would have you think. Maybe we'll talk about that with Tom on Friday. But there are a lot of new tools coming out that make it fairly easy to break iPhones. So don't believe the FBI when they say they can't get in. A lot of tools out there making it very easy, actually, to get back in. And Apple just kind of gets a free pass, kind of like movie stars until they grope somebody. They're all sweetness and light, and of course they're all saving the whales or something until they grope a gal, and then, well, that's over. But they got a free ride for all that time. Apple kind of gets a free ride on security, even though they probably should not. Okay, so we're going to start looking at some other things. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always put a message in the den. Groping of whales is also not that. But what was the guy that had the Shave the Whales book? I always like that. Shaves. Is that how you spell shaves? Shaves the whale. I always like that. We're going to go to Marie in Pennsylvania. How you doing, Marie?
Hi, fine. We're getting a little snow.
I've got my feet right now in the dog's bed because it's down here. It's very cold, maybe in the 50s.
Oh dear.
Whoa! I don't have the air conditioning on today. I don't know what to do. Anyway, I feel your pain.
I'm sure you remember it.
Oh, not fondly either.
You know.
I'm going to do some skiing though in Colorado with my nephew over my holidays. So I'll go back. I don't mind it when you can do something with it.
Yeah.
But that Midwestern, just dirty snow and nothing you can really do with it. No, it's not like you live up in Alaska where you can get a snow machine and go out across the tundra or something. And it's not like Colorado where you can ski in it. It's just miserable and dirty. Anyway, go ahead.
I was just wondering about an entry point in Broadcom.
Yeah, Avago, Broadcom, whatever they're calling it today. I wouldn't probably get involved in this until whatever they're doing with Qualcomm is done.
Okay.
If they bid this thing up one day, you could see it drop $20. I mean, they've got kind of the entire industry all queued up against Qualcomm because they would love to bust Qualcomm and its patents, which I think is a great deal of what's going on here, is they want to really put the screws on it. Apple started last year. Now Avago's trying to make a deal, and they think if they make a deal with Qualcomm, then they're going to get the business back. The downside to Avago right now is that their parts and Intel's parts are fairly inferior to Qualcomm's. So I just keep on waiting for the day that Qualcomm really starts running, or maybe even Samsung starts running the ads about how slow those chips are in the iPhone 10. So there may be some bigger pain out here to have, but the first thing I would do is wait until that is at least settled. My guess is that in the next 2 or 3 weeks, that bid is either going to be accepted. The next bid is going to be either accepted or rejected, and we're going to go into a prolonged 1-year fight over whether or not they can buy Qualcomm. But the problem is you're just one headline away from stopping out or being rich. I don't know. A coin flip just never seems wonderful to me.
Yeah.
I'd be more on the side of sitting on Qualcomm than I would on Avago right now. Because if they bid up, I've heard people on CNBC say that really this should be a bid of about $90 to $100 on Qualcomm. And I'm not exactly sure how far Avago would go down if they make anything like that. My guess is they're at 70 now, that it's probably going to go to 80. And that 80 may be enough to bring this back down to 245.
Okay.
But as long as they bid it up. The other thing I dislike about Avago is if this thing does turn south, I mean technology in the market, this is one of the most leveraged companies since some of those in the biotechs blew up. This thing's leveraged like a PE is like 65 to 1. I mean, this is massive. They've got I would say titanic amounts of debt. And I think this would be one that probably suffers inordinately lower compared to its peers.
Okay.
So on a fundamental basis, I kind of dislike it. You've got a higher low down at 254.20. That's just on a technical basis. So you'd want that be the first one if you were thinking long, that you'd want it to test. To me, I like the support level that goes from about the 27th of October back to about the 9th of October, which is right around that 246, 247 range. Thing went sideways for a few days. That's probably the first support level on an $80 bid out there. You want to hang on, or does that answer the question?
No, that's good. Thank you so much.
You bet. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Question, why did Google Finance eliminate access to 90% of corporate financial data last month? I will tell you the reason, and it's the same reason that we know fairly well since I write the art of timing the trade charts and deal with the data companies. And as more and more broker dealers are offering that data directly to the customer, and you don't hear a lot of ads. You used to hear a lot of ads for like DTN and some of the other people I used over the years, but there's less and less business for that secondary market, and they keep raising the rates. The people that are like Interactive Brokers or Ameritrade, they kind of have to pay it. So they really don't care whether or not Yahoo, in fact, they'd much rather Yahoo and Google and other companies supporting and supplying data just go away. But, you know, we've seen a little of this. The Wilshire 2000, right? They jacked the prices up on anybody carrying that data. So now it's the Russell 2000. You see this time to time. They just think that they can raise prices and no one will squeal, that you have to, you know, that you have to pay it. Therefore, it doesn't matter. And, you know, a lot of people can get it from the broker. They don't need to get it from Yahoo or Google anymore. Google basically, I guess, just thinking it's probably not worth it to pay those prices. Maybe they can't make the money back in ad money, when for the most part, you know, it's been tough. And even if you look at Yahoo's finance page, a lot of the data that used to be there has gone away. I fight it now because I had to find yet another source for the bi-monthly short data, because no one actually prints that anymore. That's off of both Yahoo and Google. So it's getting harder and harder to get open sources parts of data. They want huge amounts of money for some of this stuff, and I just think they care about it anymore. What's that? Yes, so that's it. Yes, huge. So that's about it. Okay, so what do we want to look at here? Let me, because I wasn't looking. Make sure this market hasn't gone somewhere in my absence. Oh, it's gone up it's gone up a quarter of a point on the S&P. 6 points on the S&P, higher, 141 on the Dow, and 27 on that. And of course, volume, a little less always on FOMC days, but actually volume fairly decent, 2.1 billion shares. But tomorrow, my guess is going to be the highest volume day between now and the end of the year. Probably going to see a lot of movement related to options market making, and see not much action on Friday. At least that's what I suspect. Looking at options, that is a fairly decent, I think, interpretation that they're trying to get everything done today and tomorrow and try to just camp out and go sideways on Friday. You know, maybe we get some news that changes all that, but for the most part, that's what those guys are looking at. As we spoke yesterday, we were talking about a couple of stocks that actually look fairly decent. I love the way that Goldcorp had tested the previous low of December 15th that had 11.89. Oh, no, that was $11.89 at 14.4 million shares. It got into it a little more than half at 11.64 with 8.33 million shares, and you got the reversal out here. But had a nice little hammer. You had that. I like the way that these gold charts have been setting up. We talked about how I really liked that pattern because I've seen it happen so much and so many times that these triangle patterns tend to be busted with the lower highs and higher lows. I think we showed this yesterday, but just in case we get new users in it or new listeners each day, I like to really see these patterns. We've been showing this, for 3 weeks about what we kind of liked, which is you get these triangle patterns that set up. This one wasn't the most picture perfect, but you could see it kind of developing. At least I could see it. and you kind of liked it. In fact, it was a little bit more like this. Let me move this one back here. Let me move that one. It's kind of a little bit more like that, wasn't it? I think that's what I drove before. But these patterns before, what I always like to see the pull out. I was looking for like 119, 118. I wanted to see us get through this little area that was below the 119.78. What was that date? 119.78. That's October 6th low. And it did gap below that, which is real nice. You're up today on 6.8 million shares. But these breakouts of that pattern are about 80% head fakes. So if you can see more of those developing, but the chief characteristic is that you can kind of put some long-term lines on these things that just look like a big triangle, or maybe a little bit more of a pendant. But if they go, the rule of thumb has always been if they go 3/4 to the apex of that triangle, then they're probably, you've got that 80% chance that it is a head fake. So I do like the action in gold today. And again, probably gold is really going to run and be kind of a decent vehicle if you are, if Bitcoin comes down. My guess is that all the gamblers in Bitcoin will probably move out of Bitcoin and look for something else, and that something else is probably going to be gold. So we may have a bubble in gold coming, maybe justified, maybe unjustified, but I suspect that those people in Bitcoin, when it does kind of drop 50% in a couple of days and wash everyone out, which is the history of bubbles, that we'll see something worth looking at. I didn't buy it yesterday because we already owned a couple of gold stocks, but I loved that Gold Corp signal out here. There's a few others in this sector, but they all gave very good pictures of very light tests of previous lows. So if there's a sector out there that has a lot of charts that are all lined up for a tradable low right now, gold does look fairly good. Perception is reality, and it's always different this time. Yes, perception. You just, like I said, I have a feeling that we're only the number 2 on the list of about 10 things that every bubble has, and that second one is adding the ability to add leverage. We really haven't had that. I mean, there's been a little bit of leverage you could get, but it was like daily. You could only use it for like 4 or 5 hours at a time, then you had to give it back. This, we've got real overnight 40, 50% margin now on Bitcoin, and that's what it's all about. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And I can't leave this page. I wanted to show this chart because it's very interesting in the history of bubbles. This guy named Jean-Paul something or other, I'll find it as soon as I leave this page. But I've got the link to this article he wrote. He did a lot of research, a little different than the John Paul Galbraith did on the history, but he actually made a chart and showed it on bubbles throughout 1600, kind of inspired by a brief history of financial euphoria. But hopefully you can see this chart. If you don't, email me at path@tfnn.com, and I'll send you the link so you can read the article and look at it. But basically, he's got what a lot of people think of is basically a four-phase part of the market. The stealth phase, when a lot of all the smart money is getting in, but no one's talking about it. The awareness phase, when institutional investors jump on it. The mania phase, when the public gets involved. And the blow-off phase, when the suckers give all the money back that they thought that they made. And along the way, you have some other ones, the takeoff, the first sell-off, the bear trap, media attention, enthusiasm, greed, delusion. How many times do we hear a new paradigm? And of course, the paradigm has been different. The dot-com, the bubble in crude, where it was peak crude. Once it breaks, you get to denial, return to normal. There's a little bull trap that kind of gets about halfway back up to the delusional price point, fear, capitulation, and despair, and a return to a mean for long-term products that actually have some value. I don't know how this one's going to be a little different because literally there's zero value for Bitcoin other than what people kind of believe. There's a little bit more in fiat money. There's certainly something in gold. You're only going to have so many stars generating and making gold in their last, 5-10 seconds before they blow up in a supernova. So gold, pretty tough to make. $80,000 a pound. I mean, an ounce. I think you can make gold now. Maybe that gets a little better, but the idea that you can make gold for $1,200–1,300 an ounce, pretty ridiculous at this time. But a great chart. I put the link in the den. And of course, the first question always is, so where are we in this? I think certainly we're in the greed to delusion part of this market. And that generally, we had the enthusiasm, the media attention for the last few weeks. The huge move out here, which is almost straight up, is greed and delusion. You get all the people yelling, screaming the new paradigm. When it starts failing, they'll deny it. They get a little pop, and then the destruction comes. But we're probably somewhere between greed, delusion, and the new paradigm. Could it last another month or two? It could. My guess, though, probably maybe in the first part of next year, maybe in January, we're going to see that new paradigm level. Just seems like this one is a much faster bubble than anything that we've seen before, including the dot-com revolution. Some articles, was it Seeking Alpha or another one out there about how they compared this to all the biggest of the bubbles before, and it's actually even larger than that. The dot-com one was kind of hard to tell because some companies were real. There were probably 150 companies that literally were nothing but smoke and mirrors. So the question is, what did you have left? For everyone that failed, you did have Amazon that went from $100 to $10, but now is at $1,100. So there's a handful of those stocks that did come back. So if you're looking overall on a single company, you can make some different arguments. But this is always a chart that I think anybody in the market should want to take a look at. And like I said, just email me at path@tfnn.com. I'll be glad to send you the link for it. But think about these bubbles and the eventual trip back to the mean, even on, this is more about markets, but even just the mean and the average mean. I think this guy did some work because I did read it a few years ago. But this kind of pattern normally has a 3-year cycle, i.e. that the takeoff is somewhere about 3 years. The outperformance from where it really starts going above the mean to the time it hits the high. So there's a lot of times, now that's in bigger markets. We only have a single thing to look at here, a single data point, which is the price of Bitcoin. I don't know if you could put it, there's not really a ETF of Bitcoin that goes back 3 years. But generally, when everybody's talking about it, including the taxi driver, which goes back to Joseph Kennedy, President Kennedy's father, who decided to go back after going to lunch and having his taxi driver tell him how he was retiring in the next week because of his everything that he'd made. Was it a taxi driver? Maybe I've heard it two ways. I think it was either the taxi driver or the shoe shine boy. That was his tip when he started hearing about it from those kind of people. It was time to sell everything before it imploded in 1929. But hopefully that gives you kind of an idea to think. And again, kind of like a many things in the market. There's no 100% way to know, but generally when you start hearing delusional talk, and of course the new paradigm, especially circa 2000, when we heard it doesn't matter anymore whether the company makes money, it's only about eyeballs and clicks. Normally that whole denial, delusion, when people are just talking out their human solid waste exhaust port. Can I say that on the air? When they're talking out their rear end is a good time to start thinking that you've hit the high. What do we have up here? NASDAQ's up 28. Okay. Anyway, very interesting discussion about bubbles on that page. And like I said, just email me if you want it. Let's get back to some other charts out here. Do we have anything else? I don't know why we covered IBM before, so I don't think there's anything new in that. I had some questions about Netflix out here, and if anything's going to change. It's up a little on light volume. Just always thought that there was the opportunity to have a lot of people back in it. You've got a fairly nice reversal off the high, but the energy off this high from the October 17th high down to the December 4th low just didn't really have a lot of energy. You had one big day on the 29th of November with almost 14 million shares, and that was kind of it. You had a couple other ones. You did get 9 million shares. What you would like is 178 on light volume to look at Netflix as a potential long again. We'll get to Tesla here too.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets, right here on TFNN. Meow!
And we're looking at a couple of charts out here in the blockchain slash Bitcoin arena. Saw a huge spike yesterday in Quiet Riot blockchain. That's RIOT. You had a nice volume in this thing. Kind of gave it up fairly quickly, but these circa stocks continue to bounce around. What's the other one? The company that makes power packs for computers that mine Bitcoins. A lot of these things seem rather flaky, and it gives you the idea of just how much gambling is going on in these. Some of the other ones that I find kind of interesting today was HYMN. This company was the one, of course, that went to the moon, $38.23. Helos and Matherson. These are the people that you paid $10 and you get to go see as many movies as you want. This thing ran to the moon. Guess what? It's pretty much close to going back. So if you wanted to use that model for bubbles, you might think of how some of these are looking out here. They have kind of come off the highs and had that huge spike. Now, this one is one for the ages, isn't it? I mean, that's the candle of 1,000 lifetimes out here. The next day it gaps down and confirms the high and continues to sell off. I could not get any shares of this short. I don't know if anybody else could have, so I didn't bother, but it was one of the candles that I thought was absolutely beautiful out there at the highs. But that's kind of the way these things work. You gap down. Now this one's really got the second decent gap down. There was a little one here, but today's the second gap down. Oh, we're out of time. Man, today flew by. Maybe it's all that Janet Yellen talk. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.